It is your boy, Black Ronin, back on at it again with another banger and fire video for y'all's out there today. There, y'all. But guys, I'm gonna piss off a lot of people with this one, but at the same time, like guys, I'm not trying to spread hate. I'm not trying to spread division. I'm literally actually bringing unity and enlightenment to a solution to an issue that is going on out here and been going on for a very, very long time, and it needs to come to an end. But at the same time, we can all still live in harmony and work together with one another. Hell, we can put each other on game, everything. But we're going to have to work together on this particular topic. But guys, I got to talk about us people that look like me, lighter shade. Clearly, you can see multicultural. You can look at them and see, mixed race mulatto. And to guys, to everybody who think that mulatto is a derogatory term, no, that's not true. Shout out to the mulatto mindset. I'll put up his video over here. Go watch his video. He breaks down the mulatto term and how it's not offensive. That's just some, like, the shit is all a bunch of bullshit. Like it's not meant to be derogatory. He broke that shit down perfectly. But we need to start identifying ourselves. If you are my complexion, or people got to look twice at you and they can clearly see that you got some more genes in you. Obviously, you are considered and you fall into the category, and you need to start standing by this shit. You're a parent. You need to tell your child ASAP. Listen, you're not going to fit in over here. You're not going to fit in over there, motherfucker. You are a racially ambiguous, multicultural, or mulatto, if you're, like that child, black and white, mulatto, American walking around. That needs to be stressed to your child. Because otherwise, that child is going to go through life very, very confused, because he's going to be wondering, damn, why am I getting the treatment that I'm getting and the fuckery that comes with it when people don't even know me as a person? So in order to counter that, and guess what, this is going to make people like me, especially the men, it's going to make us look really good, because now we're standing on our own 2 feet and we're bringing fellow racially ambiguous mulattoes all together in our group. And I know I'm spitting facts. I know I've been talking to a lot of them out here, because at first, back in the day when I was going through this shit, I ain't think really too much of it. I was just like, it's just a bunch of ignorance, don't really know shit. But then I seen the pattern over and over again. I'm hearing this light-skinned person say some shit. Same thing. That light-skinned person. Both men and women going through shit. So I said, hell yeah, let me know what. That shit make a lot of sense. I'm like, oh yeah, we really do gotta speak on this more. And guess what? We coming together, and I know we coming together because out of every topic, every time I bring up the light skins, the mulattoes, people listen. Because for one, I'm one of them. And it's not a lot of people. I mean, there is definitely more of us speaking out and talking the way that I'm talking, but it's not many out there. And this is really why I'm really starting to grow more faster. And I'm not doing this shit for numbers. Like, I generally want to see us do better as people out here. Us light skins, mulattoes, multicultural, racially ambiguous, that's the category we fall in, because, and when you think about it, if we live up to this is going to do the black community justice, and I think this will bring more unity between us. And on top of that, a lot of the slander is still going to be here, but it's not going to hit the same, because now we got our group, we got our community, we got our people all together. Listen, like, we're never going to deny our blackness. We're still going to be y'all biggest allies, because we know what the system has done to y'all too. They fucked y'all over badly too. But us, we get a really fucked up end of the stick. So we both catching hell. But there is definitely a big differences, and when it comes down to how we move very, very differently. And that don't get addressed. That don't get talked about. Listen, I'm not here to say every darker skinned counterpart moves a certain type of way. No, I know that there is your wild cards. There is your ones that step out the boundaries and do certain stuff. I know that. But at the same time, you have to understand there is big differences between a person of my skin complexion going through life than a darker skin counterpart. And for us, because we know whenever a light skinned person goes far in life and they throw black on that person, the black community is upset with that. And I can't even get upset with them because guess what? To them, that's going to come off as, well, it looks like they are whitewashing the black community. You know, like we're literally considered the face of blackness, when in reality, the face of blackness is a much more darker skin counterpart, a darker counterpart. And yes, they do get some representation, but not enough. Same thing with us light skinned and mulattoes, which is why we really got to all start working together out here. But at the same time, acknowledge, listen, these group of people are different. Even black community guys, they've been saying it for a while. Y'all need our own community, you know, like the lighter skin, racially ambiguous, they're different, you know. And then on top of that, think about how much stronger that's going to make you look as an individual, as a lighter skin counterpart, especially as a man, because you know how dirty we get done out here. Get thrown to the black community, and guess what? Oh, prove yourself, motherfucker. Fuck all that. We ain't doing that. We never did. I'm not saying you didn't have some idiots out there going out there trying to ride with all the fuckery, like, you know, trying to prove themselves to fit in and get social status. No, I'm not saying you ain't have some that was on that type of shit, but at the same time, we move different. And you need to understand that, you know, like you got a blend of multicultural and ethnicities in you, and your lifestyle, the way you move is going to be very, I'm not going to say very, very different, because there is things you are going to relate to a darker skin counterpart, but that shit ain't the same. Your lifestyle, the way you go through life, your outlook is going to be very, very different, and that needs to be addressed. Otherwise, we're going to continue to look weak out here. We're going to continue to look confused. White people are going to be like, oh, see, that's the results of race mixing. A bunch of bullshit, chaotic, you know, people don't unknowing, they don't know themselves and all that bullshit. No. The issue is identity. Need to understand, listen, you are a very unique person walking around. And there is more people out there just like you. And that's really the point that I'm trying to make. We all got to connect with one another, because you're walking around with this skin tone, especially as you're a woman, because I seen the fuckery that goes on with the lighter skinned woman. I used to didn't understand it growing up through life, but as I gotten older, yeah, I see how dirty she getting done too, you know, by everybody. And also I understand, you know, the effects of if you're a overly sexualized person, you know, because we're up there, we know this, and we see the effects of that. And the only people that can really connect with us on that stuff is another racially ambiguous, light skinned mulatto person out here, you know. And that's very, very important that we point this out. And the more that we talk about this stuff, the more that we spread awareness, things will get better. And it's going to make us, is like our type of kind, going to look very, very good out here. And that's not to disown our own. That's not what we doing. You know, we just want to call out that, listen, there are differences, because when we go up in life and we make it big, this needs to be the standard that, hey, you know, this is racially ambiguous. When black people, darker skin counterparts, they make it and blow up, they win. And people get to see what true blackness really is. That's all I want people to say. And I really want people to know. And it's going to end a lot of confusion, you know. And then on top of that is more of us, you know, racially ambiguous people come together and we start chatting with one another, and we make this shit official. We get this shit in fucking legislation. We get this motherfucker out here in the Supreme Court, make this shit law out here to acknowledge us and know that there is a difference. And that way we move a particular type of way. Like, set that shit up like South Africa. Not exactly like it, but you can see the community is much more stronger. I said this a million times in general. like melanated community is much more stronger outside of America than within America by a long shot. But we just got to connect with one another. And then on top of that, in South Africa, they got the coloreds, which is basically the mixed race, mulattoes and everything. They got the full blood Africans. They got the white Africans. They got that shit set up accordingly. And they all got their own communities. And that way, if raised right, you're going to have some powerful individuals in a country like that. Now, granted, South Africa ain't perfect. It do got its problems now, but I just want to make this video because at least you will know your identity walking around with this type of shade. You're going to know that, hey, you're a very unique person and there's other people like you. You just got to come to the senses to identify that, hey, you are a multicultural. There's not a lot of people out there like you here in America. I mean, yeah, they're out there, but there is a lot of controversy. There's a lot of slander, and there's a big push to make us. You got to keep in mind, guys, in America is meant to keep us mentally ill, insane, divided. But think about if America was pushing to make strong families. Like, guys, you know how much stronger and certain things we wouldn't have to worry about if people like me, my type of shade, the racially ambiguous, mulattoes, they knew who they truly are from birth. They would go so much farther. They wouldn't be. And then on top of that, they know how the other communities move from birth. They'd be like, listen, if I was told this as a man, young man growing up, be like, listen, hey, you light skinned, you're racially ambiguous. You're going to be the most hated person on the face of the planet, especially here in America. Same thing with the woman. You're going to go to new heights and stuff, but only if you align with a certain type of lifestyle that the media push and the way that you should live your life, and shitting on, the other light skinned counterpart, because that gets you farther. And that's a big issue. But if you're told these things up front, you're going to have a lot more respect, and, you're going to be up in arms. You're going to be more connected with your own, other racially ambiguous, because guess what? We understand you the most. I know why the light-skinned mulatto woman, why she turning out the way that she turning out. I know the fuckery that's going on that's making her behave that way at times. I see straight through it now. But I didn't realize that until I got on Body Game. I started working out, really improving myself. I'll be like, yeah, damn, you know what? I do see what they mean, Now, I never been a bad looking guy, like at all, But something about when you hit the gym, man, you just start to see shit for what it really is. And it's very, very important because, yeah, like you really see how fucked over, we really do get. And as a man, I see the fuckery that goes on too, over sexualized as well. And pushing a certain type of agenda on us as well, like from everybody. And that's got to stop. But it's not going to stop until we all come together and we start working together. Now, listen, this ain't no hate. This ain't no slander. Like I said, if you was a darker skinned counterpart, you moving accordingly and you got my back. It ain't no hating shit. Same thing as you a white guy or Hispanic. We good, but I do think us in general, we got to be the most on guard for everybody, because everybody like gonna have an issue with us, with the blacks and whites, everybody the most jealous of us. So this is really, really important that if you are this type of phenotype, you walking around and you got other genes in you and you acknowledge that and you proud of both sides. Even as one side act a little different, act a little strange, that's cool. You still got the rest of the community right here backing you. Because guess what? We owning up to that shit now. Ain't about to be no, oh no, like putting down light-skinned people, and having this animosity blocking them from opportunities and shit. Nah, we ain't doing that. Because guess what? Like, it's very, very important that we is coming together, because we know how badly everybody gonna fuck us over when we ain't moving the type of way that a community, both of the communities want us to move. And we know that we're gonna be outcasts, and I'm cool with that. But the ones that move accordingly and they stay true to themselves, they gonna win at the end while everybody else suffer. This is why it's important that we all come together, so that way, we don't have to rely off of the society norms. People see how the fuck we be moving, like really be moving out here, and then they get a real take on us. They see how diversified we is. Because let's be honest, guys, we really the most unique motherfuckers on the face of the fucking planet. Ain't nobody really fucking with us. Ain't nobody have the mental strength like us. The mental capacity of us is out this world. Can't be fucked with. And I know it can't, because shit, there is times I gotta motivate and uplift my dark skinned counterparts. There's times I gotta uplift my white counterparts. That's how I know we going through a different type of struggle out here. And then on top of that, you have to understand this is the perfect opportunity to come up in our community, because guess what? The white man, he out there slipping. White people, they slipping out there. Not all of them. Like I said, the ones that stay true to themselves, they moving accordingly. Oh yeah, we good. But I be paying attention to the white community. They slipping out there, man. They getting big as hell. I never seen white people this fat in history. This the fattest I've ever seen white people. Hispanics, oh man, they slacking too. So if you are my type of shade, you hitting that gym, oh man, you gonna eat good at the top once you make it. Because everybody else, they slacking off. They out there panicking. Nigga, we been in the motherfucking struggle. We been fucked over by everybody. So we out here coming together, and hell yeah, we finna rise. And ain't no force other than God that can stop us. And hell, we got God on our side. When we get to the top, guess what? We still gonna bring unity, even though both sides fucked us over at some point. Because we don't operate, well, I can't speak for all of us, because I know some of us are a wild card here, and there is a lot of us that are, misraised, at times, but, are very, very confused out here. But if you start to listen to me, you start to understand who you really are, we all going to come together, and there's going to be a lot more peace out here. And we're going to be a powerful group of people walking around here in America. And things are really going to change if we get into power. We're going to make sure everybody eating good, no matter what you look like, because we the most authentic people walking the face of the planet. We got the most compassion out of everybody. We got the most discipline, the most self-control, I would arguably say, out of everybody. Because when it comes down to self-control, our emotions, at least for us, man, we outperform our darker skinned counterpart at times. Not all of them, but a good amount. We definitely outperform the white man a lot of times, because like I said, the white man, he been getting too comfortable lately. He been eating good up there lately, shit falling apart. He out here panicking. I'm like, nigga, we been in the goddamn trenches. We rising up. Like, nigga, stop playing with us. But yeah, I had to really go in on this today. And like I said, this ain't to bring like division whatsoever. This is really just to bring unity, awareness. This is to bring that, hey, there's a difference between us. And because I feel like it's only fair, and I feel like the black community would do a lot more justice, because guess what? When they rise to the top and they number one, guess what? When they get shown in a like best light, that's going to affect them really good. And then the same thing on a racially ambiguous person. We rise to the top, and things is like, like it's going to be on point, because now at that point, you can't use the excuse and be like, oh, y'all see this, like, look at the light skins. They the staple point. They the standard of blackness. We can't use that shit no more. Now it's racially ambiguous. Now it's the mulatto. That's what we should be identifying of. So that way, when a black person, darker skin counterpart, when they reach the top and they make it and they make some real change out here, they did that shit, and they gonna be the staple. Darker skin gonna be that staple, because guys, like, that needs to be said. And I think out of respect for everybody, that's the right thing to do. But that's where I'm at on this particular topic. But let me know what you guys think. It is your boy Black Ronin. I think every parent need to watch this video. If you got any type of kids, walking around mixed race, mulatto, racially ambiguous, you need to talk to them about this because your experience through life is going to be very, very different. And a lot of problems that you bring up in life, people going to sweep that shit under the rug. Light skin, the black community, like I said before, all that proving yourself, all that shit, nah, that shit make you look weak. And we already supposed to be moving accordingly as people and moving differently anyway. Supposed to be unique. And that's how it's supposed to be, so like all that fuckery coming against us, nah, y'all need to really have a good talk with y'all kids out here because they need to know who they really is. And at the end of the day, but at the same time, still respect everybody. Respect the darker skinned counterpart because I know the fuckery that he been through and she been through and still to this very day. And respect some of the white counterparts because I've seen some of the fuckery that goes on with them too, in a community. That's fucked up even for them. But it is your boy Black Ronin. Like and subscribe, share. Y'all take it easy.